Yeah.
Kyle,
I ask you about too, John, is you're a very religious guy, very devout Christian, I believe. Is that something you were raised that way, or as an adult you jumped into it more?
So I was raised it like I accepted Jesus in my heart when I was a little kid. I never really learned too much about the Bible or the church. It kind of something I jumped into more by myself in my mid-teens.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not normal. You don't see that a lot. That's a bad way to phrase it. That's not common would be better. I'm sorry. So in your teens, you got more into religion.
Yeah.
I feel like most teens are scratching away from it while their parents pull them towards it.
Yeah, so all the churches here locally are kind of like trash. They always push in some type of weird ass agenda.
Oh, okay.
And so we never ended up going to church because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And around 15, 16, I was like, I didn't like who I was, so I was trying to change who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I found this Facebook group with actually a really good pastor, someone who wasn't pushing an agenda at all. So I started watching his live streams. And then I found this friend on this app, just to make friends. And Katie, she started doing Bible studies with me and helping me out a lot with that, which was pretty cool and got me a lot more into it.
Nice. It's I went to religious school and whatnot growing up, but something I've noticed with religious people I know is that the people that get into it on their own take it much, much more seriously than people who kind of just continued it as a habit through their childhood and now just are kind of like, yeah, I'm a Catholic the same way. Like I sometimes only eat fish on Friday, never like that. Like basically like my whole like dad side of the family, they're like, we're Catholic. Yeah. It's like, you guys haven't been to church. Like you're not even Easter Catholics. Like you don't even go for the 2 big days. But have you found that it's been positive for you in all aspects of your life, relationships, jobs? You glad with how it's going?
I feel like it has a lot more positive outcome than negative outcome, I would say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. The people I see in my life who are like sincerely religious, they seem to have more happiness and contentment, which I guess makes sense because like I'm very jealous of that. Like I wish, don't you? Like I know Woody, you've like come down on the other side of it, but like, wouldn't it be really good? Like to believe sincerely 100%, like after this, there's something way better.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So my parents are super sick right now. They're in their 70s. My mom's had cancer twice this year in different places. My father just got out of the hospital. And, I never knock people who like find God, even if it's temporarily in moments of stress. And it's not what I've done, but if it's what you do, that's cool. I'm not knocking it. And I can see the appeal of, a little grace, a little heaven, a little like, just some goodness on the other side of this thing. So I can see why it would give someone a sense of peace.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it'd be positive to be like, oh God, life's pretty shit right now. At least this is just like a little preview for the good stuff. Like,
yeah, right. Or in my case, it's like, someone I care about is going through it right now. So, but I have full confidence they're about to see Nirvana or whatever you want to call it. And that would give comfort if I could buy that.
What's your conception of heaven, John? Like, what do you think it's going to be like?
I haven't read too much in the Bible about heaven specifically. I know it's not what you see in the movies, though. A lot of people think, it's like all clouds and some gay ass shit, and all these people have wings. Most people don't even know what angels look like. Most angels, they have like a shit ton of eyeballs,
they're
they
terrifying.
have like fields going around them. So like, I know heaven is not nearly what people think it is. Same thing with angels, at least not from media. From what I do know about heaven, from what I have read, it seems like a cool thing. It seems like an awesome thing to do or go.
Yeah, it does seem cool. If I'm gonna be in heaven or hell, heaven 10 times out of 10. Hell, terrible marketing. They let you know up front it's gonna suck. It's gonna be bad.
See, something that a lot of people tell me is because quote unquote you're a Christian, God will always, or Jesus will always forgive you, and you could, if you make a mistake, you're forgiven always. And the reason why a lot of people they use this excuse is Jesus has gifted you with the eternal life. Okay, he never said that eternal life is going to heaven or hell. Okay, so a lot of people they get that tripped up. So I'm thinking that's why I think Orthodox Christians is a little bit better than regular Christians. Because eternal life just means eternal life. Does that mean you go to heaven? Or does that mean you go to hell?
Yeah. Well, hopefully heaven then. Yeah. What is it about I guess the Orthodoxy that I guess it attracts you more than Catholicism or Protestantism or any of the other ones?
I feel like Orthodox Christians, I don't know how well it is in the West because I haven't gone to really a church for that yet. But from what I have looked into in the Middle East, it hasn't really lost its teachings versus most of the other chapters of Christianity or whatever doesn't teach what is in the book anymore. They're pushing an agenda. A lot of people they'd be all like they'd be teasing it, like, well, the way I see this or the way I think it means by this is so on and so on. Well, no, it says exactly what it means, and then these people put a whole completely different spin on it. Which is why I don't like most of the church here locally, because they always put some crazy spin on it, putting other words with different. Because each word has its own definition. Why are you putting all these different definitions in a word or in a book that was never there before for that sentence or something like that?
Yeah. With I don't know if it's just Catholicism or if it's the Orthodox churches also. Like one thing I know about the Orthodox churches, I think it's all of them that's obviously better than Catholicism, is like the priests can have wives and children and families in like the Orthodox churches, which I would imagine helps weed out a lot of the ghouls that go there to prey on children in the Catholic Church.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you,
do you think they go there to prey on children?
100%. 100%. So people who prey on children will go places where they get access to children.
So if you look at Italy, there's this, I forgot what the city or capital is called, but it's under control of the Catholic Church.
Vatican City, yeah.
Yeah. That place is the #1 place where kids go missing.
Yeah, I would not doubt that in like some per capita look like at it, but yeah, like a lot of these priests 100% are doing it because they want guilt-free, blame-free association with kids.
And that's why else would these priests they get moved to different countries all the time too.
Yep. That's a reason
for that.
I think that perhaps the lifestyle of being a priest, this is, remaining celibate when humans aren't supposed to be that, can make some people become twisted. You might have been a good person when you first decided to become a priest. You might have been the best.
I can see that.
And now you find yourself at 35 years old, just jerking off for 35 for maybe 20 years. And you're like, I don't know, finding your most vulnerable outlets. And some people go in that direction when if they could have lived a normal, more fulfilling life, they wouldn't have, I think.
Maybe I'm just more cynical. I think those predators seek out positions like that to abuse them.
Yes.
I feel like it could be a little bit of both.
I don't think that they became a child abuser. I think they went into it like, this is a way to do this.
You're born a pedophile. You don't become one. You don't train people to become pedophiles, and they certainly aren't doing it in seminary school. Although maybe they're allowing it. And I bet there's a subculture at seminary school where guys are like, hey, hi. It's like, gotcha there.
Well,
Kyle, you don't think
seminaries
it's
are these
possible that
bastards.
these people get a little fucking warped and twisted trying to live a celibate life for an entire adulthood?
When you get warped and twisted, you get into big titty girl porn or glory holes. You don't say,
Catching strays every episode.
Catching strays.
You don't suddenly say, I want some little boy ass. You don't say that. And that's what these guys do. Just like that coach I was talking about that they found with all those videos of him drugging. They have a thing they're into. Like the thing that they're into will often be a boy. And it's not that they haven't came in a while and they're extra horny. Like don't even try to relate to them because they're another thing. They're and our brains literally don't work the way that theirs do because whatever like the thing that attracts you most about sex with women and with or like the sexiest thing in the world to them, that's children. And I don't think you ever become that. I think you just are that.
I found golden tablets in central Missouri. And they told me, where do you come down on Mormonism, John? Do you think that it's do you think that they're real Christians or too misguided?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. Like I never really looked into the religion that well.
You should. It's entertaining. So
I
here's the Mormon religion. They're very wonderful people.
But I've never really looked into it myself, so I don't have a good education.
Okay. So quickly, here's the deal.
I would say they're real Christians. They just have an extra little addendum that's a little silly, but they're such nice, good people.
A couple hundred years ago, this guy named Joseph Smith, who was a con man, claimed that he found golden tablets in the ground that were written. There were new books to the Bible, and they described Jesus Christ coming to North America, meeting with the Indians, and a number of other things. He never showed the tablets, and he would only read them by putting them in a goddamn magic hat. And there was also a couple other ways they found him to be fraudulent. Like the guy is transcribing what Joseph Smith. What's his name? It's Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith. Yeah.
It's such a plain name; it's easy to fucking forget.
Yeah.
He has a man transcribing what he reads. He's looking in the fucking magic hat. And God said, Joe, you're a swell guy. You should have 50 wives. You got that? And the guy's over there writing it all down. Well, the guy goes home and his wife is like, you did what all night? That guy's fucking full of shit. Here, I'll prove it. All that shit you wrote, give me that. Go tell him you lost it. Tell him he'll have to transcribe it again. He goes back. Dude's furious. And he says, he'll have to go talk to God about this. God says, because of what happened, that book can never be revealed again. That's lost unto mankind now because of the deception.
Dude, that's such a good spin.
So isn't that what happened on the South Park episode?
Yeah. Well, they're telling the truth. Yeah. That's the history.
They get the Mormonism shit in South Park pretty correct because they're from Utah, or no, they're from Colorado, and like Colorado, Utah, Idaho, there's a huge Mormon population there. And so especially Idaho and Utah, if you live there, you know a shit ton of Mormons.
Those are swell people, though.
And to a T, they are kind people who seem to have happy families. They all have like 7 kids.
Yeah.
Like they're planning to farm.
You would think they'd be out, breeding us awful regular folk.
They are out breeding us. They've all got a bunch of kids. Is it the
celestial temple they go to when they die? Because that's also where the wormhole aliens live in Deep Space Nine.
No, it's definitely not.
And if it's the same thing, if I can get to meet Captain Sisko by converting, oh my God, I'll do whatever they want. If I could go to some sort of Star Trek heaven.
I don't think that no, it's Jehovah's Witnesses, I think, that get their own planet.
I think that is correct. Yes,
they get their own whole world. I think Mormons have like a normal idea of heaven.
Maybe. No, the Mormons have the celestial temple thing where like everybody in our like core family group, the husband, the wives, and the kids are all in our own little group together, and that's definitely true.
Like that picture I saw of angels.
Hold up, if that's the case, imagine this. Let's say, I have a family, I have kids, okay, and then my kids have a family and they have kids.
Yeah.
And so on and so on and so on. Okay. Well, where do I go? Do my grandkids get to see me then? Do my son sees me?
No.
No, they'd have to. That wouldn't be heaven if you couldn't see your friends and family.
You're going to have to ask a Mormon. I'm sure they know all the answers to all these questions.
Dude, I remember that scaring the shit out of me as a kid when like they taught us at one point. They're like, when you go to heaven, you're just part of like God's family now. And like that scared the shit out of me. I'm like, I'm not going to like, I won't recognize like my grandparents and my mom and my dad and my brothers and everything. And like, I remember this pastor being like, no. And I was like, what? Like that's horrific. I don't know, 5, 6, like.
So they're telling 5-year-olds they're going to be separated from their parents. That's solid.
Dude, my mom told me I got drilled in the head with hell so hard my whole childhood. I was terrified of hell.
Yeah, my mom told me that in the car one time. My dad was like, "Don't tell him that." Horse shit,
dude. I was a real deal adult before I found out my dad was just playing along my whole childhood. It was just like, hey dad, like ever since you and mom divorced, like you just have not been to church ever. And he's like, nope. And it's like, so you just don't do that? And he's like, it's such a waste of time. Like he's just he hated it. He just would golf every day.
Yeah, my dad clearly did too. Yeah, it's
boring. It's fucking boring, and they don't keep it fresh. It's a guilt trip so often. It's the same shit over. Like, do you know how often I sat and I heard the Beatitudes? Matthew 5, love is patient, love is kind, it does not boast, it does not envy.
No, not even just that.
5,000.
For example, like a lot of these churches here locally, they would be gossiping, you know, and that's quote unquote a sin. But you'd be talking shit about everyone there behind their back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about a snake handling church? Like I think I could get on board with that. If I could go to one. Here's what turns me off about church.
It's a demonstration of faith.
Actually, let me tell you what I like about church that I've enjoyed every time I've gone. I love the singing. I like when there's dancing.
At a white church?
Yeah.
There's a ton of singing at every church.
But I've only seen terrible singing and awful songs with dodgy lyrics in churches.
The dodgy lyrics will be there. Yeah.
A lot of professional singers start a church. A lot of them do. They really good singing at
Toby Keith,
churches I've
Taylor
been
Swift.
to.
The guy from System of a Down.
That chubby chick from American Idol.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't know what her name is.
Kelly Clarkson.
Kelly Clarkson.
She got big.
Did she?
That probably helps her singing voice.
I don't.
Seems like fat people
she has access
better.
to Ozempic.
I don't think she wants it.
Everybody wants it.
I don't know what Ozempic.
You know who's not taking it is Sean Connery's wife. Have you seen those pictures of like Sean Connery with his where he's like it's him standing with his
dead.
No, not Sean Connery, the other James Bond. The fucking
Daniel Craig. They photoshopped Daniel Craig's wife to make her extra fat. And
no. It's a funny one where like you see him standing next to her when she's like thinner and younger and he's like grimacing and then like he smiles progressively more and more like the thicker she gets and she's like
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. It's a very funny picture.
I think also cool. Hugh Jackman's wife is doesn't match him physically speaking.